Yo, what's up? All right, I had to come on. I'm back on the mic. Uh, that's interesting. Did you see that candle that opened? This 15 minutes candle that dropped? Just 1 minute. Forgot to connect my microphone. All right. Uh-huh. So I was on this Nasdaq trade, got in around here. We saw I got in there. We saw that push to the upside. I was up 3,000, and all of a sudden on this gold trade, all of a sudden this 15 minutes candle, which opened around 3 a.m., just dropped. Look at that big drop. So apparently we're having a consolidation around this zone. We've been consolidating around this zone. So we're seeing these consolidations. So we're seeing all of these consolidations, and then we started pushing up. So I got in after this push. I got in on this candle. So we pushed up, and now we just saw this crazy candle drop. This candle drop kind of makes me wanna makes me wanna close my position, but I don't want to be bullied. I don't want to be bullied into closing my position. I always rather just go for my stop loss. Except it's too obvious that it's gonna hit my stop loss, and that's what I'm trying to find out. Let's drop on the H4. Interesting. Interesting. If you were on my live the other day, if you joined my live trade 2 days ago on Monday, you would understand why I'm in this trade. It's because on Monday I bought gold from this zone and I took it all the way up. On Tuesday I did the same thing, and today I am continuing to buy gold until this setup plays out. My target is this setup, and the only time I would close out is if we were to break below this support. If not, I'm gonna keep chasing this setup to play out. And the minute 15 right now, though, it's not looking really good. It's not looking like it's going in our favor. Yeah. Can you imagine being up $3,000 in profit and then about to go hit your stop loss? This is the this is the mental game. This is the hard part about trading. This is the tough part. This is what breaks you. But I mean, if you're like us, you just show up, you perform, and we don't really care about the outcome. We just execute. I come on the chart, I do my analysis, I execute my trade, I take my risk, and whatever happens. There is nothing you can do. You're not the market maker. You can change nothing. You just show up, you perform, and you leave the rest to the market making God. You cannot do nothing about it. Who would have thought that a trade that was in $3,000 profit was going to drop? Nobody. It was going really fine. So you cannot do nothing about this. All you can do is manage your risk. How much are you willing to risk? So you show up, you analyze your chart, you decide how much you want to risk, you take your risk, and you let the market do its thing. and you don't panic. I just take a trade. I take my trade. I know what I saw in the market. I do my analysis. I take a trade, and then whatever happens, happens. I cannot control it, you know. But what I know is that at the end of the month, at the end of the day, doesn't mean at the end of that day. At the end of the month, by the end of everything, I'm always in profit. You know, today I might see a good setup here. The market might come back, take me out. Great. Tomorrow I might come, see a good setup, get in. Maybe the market takes me out today. The important thing is I have a risk. It might take me out 3,000. I might come back tomorrow. The market might just go to my take profit. I might make 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. You know, the important thing is I'm losing 3,000 a day when I lose, and when I make profit, I'm making 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand, you know. So it's all about risk management. Coming to the market, analyzing, executing your trade, and there is nothing you can do. Let the market play out. You cannot change nothing. And one other way that the market gets you is when you panic. So, for example, you see this setup. So you're in a trade. You got in on a trade there. The market is going up, and then all of a sudden you see that big candle. So you've been holding this candle for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles. We're talking about 8 15-minute candles. If you do your math, 15 minutes times 8, that's 120 minutes. You've been holding that in for more than 1 hour, and then one candle shows up, takes away 15 minutes worth of M15 candles. Just one candle. And that's when people usually panic and they close out, they run out. And then they get in a sell. Bam! And now the market drops down, behave as if it's going to give you some profit. And you're like, oh man, thank God I closed out. And then now it starts to pull back, and now it's at your entry. And before you know, it's going to go out, take out your stop loss and just keep going. That's why I created a system where I just get in on the trade, put in my risk, and just let the market do its thing. If it's gonna hit my stop loss, no problems, you know. No panicking, no panicking and closing. Just let the market do its thing. Somebody asked me to comment on the Nasdaq trade. I think you're talking about the trade that I sent to the. I think you're talking about the trade that I sent to the Telegram group. All right, let's jump in on the Nasdaq chart. Let's jump on the Nasdaq chart. Let's see what's happening there. I mean, overall, we already know that the overall trend on Nasdaq is bullish. That is clear. Overall trend. Move the microphone. All right, so we already know that the overall trend on Nasdaq is bullish. We're bullish on Nasdaq. Who remember these yellow lines? If you were on my live some weeks ago, you would remember the lines that we have here, these yellow lines. There were some important zones that I marked out. But yeah, we already know that the overall trend is bullish. So what happened? We're climbing up, and then we saw these 2 days from last week, Thursday and Friday, two back-to-back massive drop. What's this today? All right. So this is Monday. This was on Monday. So remember that when we're climbing up, this was support zones. This was a support zone. You see the market came, hit this zone, went up, came, hit this zone, went up, came, hit this zone, went up, came, hit this zone, went up. So this was a support zone. So when this market dropped down and this market came down, this was a support that we broke below. So when this market came back up and broke above it that day, honestly, I don't know what happened. The market just kept going crazy. And what happened is that you can see that this candle, this was a support. So this candle dropped from the support and dropped down and went to another support. And this candle moved from that support and went back and closed exactly on that support, which then served as a resistance, right? And then yesterday the market opened, kind of pushed up and then dropped. Didn't drop back to this bottom, but dropped below that support. So this is where the support was, and this candle dropped below that support. And today we just had a candle form. Let me go on the H4 so you can understand what I'm talking about. So today we just had a candle form below that support. So if you go on the H4, you can understand what I'm talking about more. So this is what I'm talking about. You see, we're climbing up and climbing up, and this place where we have this line, which is 23,195 was a support. 23,195 was a support. Every time we went up, came back supported. Went up, came back supported. Went up, came back supported. And then when we came, we just smashed below it. And then when we came back, for some reason, we broke above it, and then we dropped. You see that drop? And then we close below it again. So basically, I'm getting in on a sell. I sent that sell signal, and I'm holding those sell positions on my Forex account, because they are Forex live account. You can actually hold trades. It's not like on futures or prop firm futures where you cannot hold trade for a long time. So since we broke below this support, we came, broke above it, came, and now we're below it again. I'm expecting price to come back and retest this low. Since we are below that support, we're below 23,195. So since we're below there, I'm expecting price to come back and take out this low, or at least drop back to this low. You can see the setup, right? So I'm expecting price to come back to these lows somewhere around 22,823. I'm expecting some drop. So I have some positions here. I have some positions at 23,307 that I got in yesterday. I've been holding them, and I got in on some new positions around here. Now, I think with this analysis, you should understand why I got in on those sell. So I got in I sold some positions here at 23,307 yesterday, and today I just got in when price got to this zone 23,074. I got in on some new positions around there, and my targets 22,823 and 22,666. The thing is that if you look on my public free Telegram group, I said to manage your risk. Because sometimes I can give you the market direction and then I can give you a signal, but most of you don't know how to manage the trade. You don't know how to manage your risk. So what ends up happening is that the trade is going to play out, but you get knocked out, you lose money while I make money. And the difference between me and you is that I can manage that trade. So even if there is a pullback, I'm maybe on one account, but since I trade multiple accounts, for example, on my Forex account, I got in around here, my stop is above that support there, and another position with another stop above. So since it's a Forex account and since I have a bigger capital, I'm able to manage it. So you are the one who is supposed to decide what contract size to use, what lot size to use, and how to manage that trade so you can see this play out and how much you're willing to risk for this trade. I know my strategy, I know the setup, I know how much confidence I have in the setup and how much I'm willing to risk. That's why, for example, I don't like to sell signals, because selling signals it can be good for me and bad for you, because I know my team, I know what I'm targeting, and you might not fully understand it, So when I give signals, I give them for free. And for my mentees, I teach them. When I give them the signals, because they've been taught, they know what I'm looking at. And because they've been working with the strategy and they know what I'm looking at, they are then able to, they're building their psychology. They have a system. The risk management are in place and everything. So they know what they're looking for. They know what they've been taught on how to, approach the market. So that is what it is, guys. As you can see what's happening there with gold. Let's go and see. This is why you don't panic, guys. This is why you don't panic. You saw what gold did there. I was in this trade. I was up $3,000. Everything was going fine. And then at 6 p.m., out of nowhere, bam! I'm like, yo, what's happening? I was doing good. I was up 3K, and out of nowhere, this candle just dropped. Imagine if I had been like, oh man, we were struggling this whole time, and this is the biggest candle so far. Man, imagine if I panicked and I closed. See how close it went to my stop loss. Look at my stop loss. The market came here. My stop loss is at 34.29.3, and we came down to 34.30. That was so close. I was about to basically hit my daily drawdown. But I just let my trade play out. If it hits stop loss, great. There is nothing I can do about it. I make my decision. I get in on the trade, and whatever happens, happens. The important thing on this chart right now, that's why I have closed my balance. I don't want to see my balance. I want to see my balance at the end of the week, at the end of the month. I don't want to see my balance today. I'm not interested. The only thing I'm interested in is the things that you can see on the chart. My loss for the day, my profit for the day, and my daily drawdown. Those are the only thing I'm interested in. Because if you're looking at your balance decrease, you're like, oh man, I managed to take this account to 100K. Now I'm down to 94. There is something with numbers, you start feeling bad, And I like to see my loss for the day. I like to see how much I'm making currently, and I like to see how much I've got to risk for the day. The only thing that I can control here is my stop loss. How much am I willing to risk on this trade? And I make this decision before taking this trade. I make this decision of how much I'm willing to risk on this trade before I got in on the trade. When I'm in this trade, the only decision I would make after I have opened this trade is to press this button and manually lock myself out. So I make every decision before I press the buy or sell button. After I have done my analysis and make a decision to buy and put my stop there, I don't do nothing. If I hit my stop loss, great. See you tomorrow. If it goes to my take profit, great. See you tomorrow. Same attitude, Once I get in on the trade, I put my stop and everything, and the market starts pulling back, and I'm like, oh, something that happens sometimes. One thing that came in on my mind when I was holding this trade, when the market came to this point, and I was down 2,000 on my daily drawdown, and I have $3,000 to risk today. I have 3K to risk today. So when I was down 2K, I was like, one thing that came to my mind was like, what if I just close it and I look for another position and just risk the last 1,000? Maybe I can recover and make some more money. That was the first thing that came to my mind. But then I'm like, no, if it hits the stop loss, no problem. I cannot control this, but I know why I got in this trade. That was the first thing and then I thought about that. When I thought about that, I'm like, I don't care. And just look at that. Imagine if I had, imagine that after this drop, bam, I was like, you know what? This is a big candle, just took out all of this consolidation, big drop. Okay, I'm just going to close my trade and get in on a sell here. And then imagine that this went down a little bit, quickly came back up, and now would have been in lows. I probably would have been panicking. And since I knew that I was buying before, I probably would have closed another loss and tried to look for another buy. And for somebody who has $3,000 to risk for the day, that is bad trade management. That's bad risk. That's bad. That's completely bad. So some of you have bigger capitals to risk for the day. You probably trade in an express account, so you have more money to risk. But that is how you blow your account. You don't know how much you're willing to risk. You've not decided that, okay, on this trade. The point is, you have to decide, on this trade, I'm willing to risk 1,000. You get in on a trade, I'm willing to risk 1,000 on this trade. I'm going to be using 2 contracts. I love using 2 contracts. For example, if you love using 2 contracts, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to be using 2 contracts. I'm going to be risking 2,000, and I'm going to be targeting the setup. Some people be targeting profit. No, target the setup. You should have a system that gives you a setup. You should have a system that when you, for example, when I buy at a support, I target the next resistance. When I sell at a resistance, I target the support. That should be your target. So your target shouldn't be a figure. It shouldn't be the money amount. It should be the setup that you see on the chart. And then how much are you willing to risk? And then just let this thing play out. There's nothing you can do about it anyways, you know. So if you have a system that's profitable, even if you have a 50% win rate system, if you follow these rules, you see that you become profitable, because you will let your winners run and you have good risk. So even when you lose, it's going to be a reasonable amount, and when you win, it's going to be a reasonable amount, you know. So that's just it. That is just it. Yo, Shima in the room, what's up? All right. It's boring. There is nothing to do than to just wait and let the market do its thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mute the microphone, enjoy the music, and enjoy the process. This is what it means to be a trader, holding through all of these pullbacks and all of that stuff. All right, we're about to smash that stop loss. That was a good trade, well executed. We did our part, you know. Follow the system. Uh, did everything I was supposed to do. Decided my stop loss. Nice analysis. I did my part, and now the market is about to do its part. There is nothing I can do about it. So we just take the L and we move. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Who wants to capture a stop loss live? Look at that, beautiful. Let's go. Let's go. All right. I mean, that's how it works. There's nothing I can do about it. Analyzed my chart, analyzed my trade, decided my loss, and then we just set and let the markets do its thing. Whatever happens, happens, you know. All right. It's approaching stop loss.
Order filled.
All right. That is it for the day. That is it. That is it. And I was up 3,000. I was up 3,000. Got in and around there. Got in there. Market went up. I was up 3,000. Came back down. Took me out 3,000. This is trading for you, bro. This is trading for you. And there is nothing you can do about it. There is absolutely nothing you can do about it. But we move. We move. Did I follow my trading plan? Yes. Did I do everything rightly? Yes. And then the markets do its thing. Could I change anything? No. So that is what's important. As long as I follow the plan, you know, I played by the book. That's all that matters to me. So that is it, guys. Minus 3 grand for today. So if you see me printing 10 grand, 20 grand, 50K tomorrow, understand how it happens, you know. You must be willing to take that loss to be able to take that win, you know. So that is it. I'm still going to be looking for that gold buy. I'm still going to be looking for that gold buy. So this is my target. As long as this setup is playing out, I am looking for that high there. I'm looking for the market to go back to that high. So on my other accounts, if I see a good setup, I'm going to go back in and continue hunting for that buy on gold. But yeah, yes. I got an opportunity to take profit though if I wanted to go out, but no, that's not the plan. The plan is hold either for take profit or for stop loss. So I did. You know, we went halfway. This was my plan. You know, on this account, this was my plan. I was like, if we could hit take profit there, I would just take profit. But unfortunately, we hit stop loss first. So it is what it is, you know. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and sign out.